Here's a short story that I really enjoyed reading, and I think you guys will definitely enjoy hearing about a young bride. I don't think she's too old, probably her 20s, who's now kicking one of her bridesmaids out of the whole wedding ceremony because she found out that she's a cheater, that she's cheating with a married man. But of course, blaming it all on him. And this young bride, instead of doing the whole trying to be popular and make everybody happy, she wants her out because she doesn't want to be up there getting married and have some girls symbolizing the exact opposite of that. And it goes to show you there are some good ones out there. Title: Am I the a-hole for not wanting my friend to be a bridesmaid after proudly sleeping with a married man? So it says here, I recently got engaged and called one of my close friends to share the news. She was supposed to be one of my bridesmaids. A few days later, she was blowing up my phone, asking me to call her back. When I finally did, the very first thing she said to me while laughing was, "Guess who's a mistress?" I was completely confused and asked what she meant. She then told me that she slept with a married man. She knew he was married. She had previously hung out with him and his wife in group settings. She went into detail about the affair and kept saying that the wife would never find out, and she owed her no loyalty, and that the husband was the only one at fault. Man, she's a snake. So this girl is bragging about it. Oh, I'm a mistress, ha ha ha, and knew both the man and the wife and is still sleeping with the guy. Does this sound like somebody you want to be friends with? You can't tell me this girl wouldn't do the same thing to her? Think about it. I was shocked and really upset about hearing that information. Cheating is something I feel very strongly about because it has affected my family and me personally, and she knows that. Instead of showing remorse, she kept trying to justify herself. Well, of course, women and accountability. Because of my morals and how uncomfortable I felt, I decided I couldn't have her stand by me as a bridesmaid. Good for you, honey. That's really good. And this means now there's going to be some turmoil, but better that than, stand with your morals. We talked again a week or two later after I stopped reaching out to her. She said she wanted to explain more so I could understand where she was coming from. Really? Here we go. Listen, here's the bullshit. The conversation mostly consisted of her explaining how terrible this man was and how he had cheated on his wife many times. Bitch, you're cheating with him. You're bragging about it last week when we were having fucking Starbucks. Happy to be a mistress. You're blaming it all on him? Again, women and accountability. When I expressed how strongly I felt about cheating and how it affects my ability to trust people, she told me that I was pouring my trauma onto her situation. Oh, here we go. Again, she's sweet and innocent, and the girl telling the story is the bad guy. But we didn't talk much after that. Later, her sister, who I grew up with, was originally my friend, graduated college. We all went out together to celebrate, and it was actually a really good night. It made me pause and reflect, and I briefly considered whether I should show grace. Nope. If your gut told you this is not a good situation, I don't want this home-wrecking harpy in my bridal party, stick with it. Well, however, on the way home, my best friend, who had been with me that night, told me something important. She said that my friend had been openly talking about how she was still texting and in contact with the married man. Isn't this the same married man who she made out to be the root of all evil, and he's cheating on his wife and blah, blah, blah? While telling the story to my best friend, she twisted the narrative to make it sound like she didn't know that he was married, which is not true at all. That's not what we just heard. What made this harder is that she had told her sister the full truth. Her sister and I had already talked together about what happened and how upsetting it was, so I know she understood the situation clearly. That made it feel intentional, and that she changed the story when talking to others. She's also a pathological liar. That kind of goes hand in hand. After learning all this, I spoke privately with her sister, the graduate, and asked if she'd be upset with me if I chose not to have her sister be a bridesmaid because of what happened. She told me she would completely understand and agree with that decision. Wow, we got two good girls in this story, because normally you hear something like this and the girl might freak out. It's like, you're excluding my sister, but she's my sister, blah, blah, blah. At this point, it wasn't just about the affair, it was the lack of accountability, the rewriting of the story depending on the audience, and the continued contact with the man after claiming remorse. She's still invited to my wedding, but I did not want her standing beside me or in my inner circle on one of the most important days of my life. I want this to be a good day, and she brings a lot of drama. I don't want to feel stressed or uncomfortable on my wedding day. Well, I like this whole story except that one part when she says she's going to invite her to the wedding anyway. You don't think that she's not going to stir up drama when everybody knows that she's been booted out of the bridal party? Oh, you guarantee that now this girl who's a home wrecker might be after her husband, or just enough to make it look bad. I wouldn't invite this jerk to the wedding after this behavior. It's going to be drama, guaranteed. But well, hopefully I'm wrong. But putting that aside, good for this girl here. This is rare. You all know it's rare. I covered a story about 2 weeks ago, I think a lot of you guys saw, about this bridesmaid who went scorched earth on all the girls in the wedding party. I think some of you guys saw that, where she didn't want a bachelorette party with dancers and all that, strippers, and their friends did it anyway, and they tried to get her to, and she left. And basically found out that they were all manhandling the male dancers and all that, and she went scorched earth. She sent that information to all the husbands and boyfriends and kicked them all out of the bridal party and had a very simple wedding. It was hilarious. A very rare situation of a good girl. And so there are ones like that out there, but it's rare. And by the way, I'll post a link to that story in case you guys want to see it. Now, I'm going to read a few comments here, and it's pretty funny how you're going to have people on her side, but somebody else being kind of skeptical. One guy says here, not the a-hole. You absolutely get to decide who you want as a bridesmaid. If an unabashed cheater standing up for you as yours takes your vows, it will take away your wedding day. Do not have her. Other brides may not care, but you do. Why have someone who makes a mockery of marriage stand up for you? Another one says, here's the thing. You feel she's good enough to still come as a guest and splurge on a gift for you, but you want her to wear the scarlet letter and be disinvited as the bridesmaid. Further, you want to draw the line at a married man cheating. Yes, she's seeing a married man, but you most likely don't know his circumstances. You seem like a terrible friend. See that? There's always going to be somebody. Well, that's probably the cheater in this story here. I don't think she's inviting this chick just so she can get a gift. I think she's still trying to be somewhat fair and have her not kicked out of the bridal party, but still can come to the wedding. That comment was by a woman, by the way. And one more says here, not the a-hole. You do get to make moral judgments and act accordingly. This is not trauma dumping. That's having standards. It may damage your friendship, sure, but that's okay. You don't share the same moral values, so inevitably that will strain the relationship, and that's normal. They're not going to have a normal friendship like this. Why would she want to be friends with someone like this? Again, someone like this would go after her husband. One more point on making moral judgments. We all do it. You get to decide where the line is. Most people would agree that it's okay to judge someone for offing someone, I gotta watch what I say here, or robbing from the poor. Why is it okay to make that moral judgment, but not one that says, I value loyalty and honesty and fidelity and want people standing up for me to value those too? It's your choice. Surround yourself with people who share your values, engage with those who don't, but guard your heart and your man and your purse. There you go. Well, long guys, but I like these ones every once in a while, showing there's some decent gals out there. I wish her and her now husband the best. But just watch out for that harpy. She's coming after you.